Hey VC, it's Jonathan, the Cheap and Cheerful Record Collector. I hope everybody's doing well on this late summer afternoon. This is going to be a video response to Mazzy's 500 subs contest. I guess he's well over 500 now, probably close to 600. Love Mazzy, love his channel. Always something fun, always something interesting, something I don't know, always learning something from him, and always does with a sense of humor, so it's always fun to watch. This video, his contest, is all about 1969. Summer of 1969, I actually was 20 years old and was living in Southeast Ohio, where I went to college, or dropped out of school, was living with a bunch of friends in a commune, and we were a bunch of hippies, and we basically pooled whatever money we had together and bought a bus. It was an old church bus, painted blue, and we were going to drive it to Woodstock. Actually went to 2 festivals that summer, but we were a little bit paranoid about painting the bus psychedelic colors because the cops would bust us just for walking down the street half the time in Southeast Ohio in the 60s. So we wanted to sort of keep under the radar, so we kept the bus painted plain blue. And a couple of weeks before Woodstock, we drove the bus to Atlantic City for the Atlantic City Pop Festival, where we saw Dr. John, Sir Douglas Quintet, Janis Joplin, Joe Cocker, Santana, etc., etc. Then drove the bus back to Ohio, got it fixed up, and then drove to Woodstock. We got to Woodstock maybe Wednesday night, Thursday morning. We got into the site, we got there early enough, and we stayed all the way till Monday afternoon because we didn't have jobs, we didn't have to rush back. And we saw virtually all the acts. I saw everybody from the opening Richie Havens to the end of Jimi Hendrix. It was a great time. I remember most of it. I can't say I remember all of it, but I remember most of it. And 69 was quite a year for music. Records that came out then were just unbelievable when you look back at it today. So Mazzy's contest is all about 1969. First question he has is show a record that everybody should have in their collection. And obviously this is a hard thing to figure out what everybody should have, but after weighing this and that and this and that, actually it's 2 records. It's come out as a 1 record set since then, but 1 record everybody should have in their collection is Robert Johnson, 2 record set, which is King of the Delta Blues Singers. These songs he wrote on these albums have been taken and re-recorded and taken over by everybody from Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, The Who, etc., etc., etc. So on these albums, you have everything from Crossroad Blues to Love in Vain, from 4 Until Late, which Cream did, Kind Hearted Blues, Dust My Broom, Sweet Home Chicago, Ramblin' on My Mind, Milk Cow Blues, Hellhound on My Trail, all these songs that Robert Johnson wrote and recorded, basically on 2 dates, November 27th and 23rd, 1936, and June 19th and 20th, 1937. So we had 2 recording dates, and these are the 2 albums that everybody in music, who's into music, whether it's rock, jazz, blues, folk, whatever, should have these 2 records. Okay. Next question was an album that makes you want to get you going, or an album that he sort of left it up in the air, puts you in the mood, basically. That's it. Album that puts you in the mood. Well, this record also happens to be 1969, but it's the first one I thought of, and that is Sly and the Family Stone, Puts You in the Mood for Dancing. And this record certainly gets you going and puts you in the mood, and that mood is to get up and boogie. And again, it just happens to be 1969, Sly and the Family Stone. Next was pick a record that has a interesting cover or packaging. So there's a series of these records, and it's by a company called Limelight, and mostly jazz albums. This is Dizzy Gillespie and his big band, The New Continent. That's the cover, which is pretty cool. But what's even cooler, if you open it up, as you see, it pops out and you have like a window into, and then besides that, you also have a booklet attached which tells you all about the music inside with pictures. I have two of these. I have this from another artist too, but this is the first one I had. The first one I thought of was Dizzy Gillespie. Pretty cool record. Great packaging. Very interesting. Next question was an artist that you have or are trying to attain his or her complete catalog. I immediately thought of my personally favorite guitarist of all time, and that would be Ry Cooder. A lot of Ry Cooder albums, really hard to get his entire collection. He wrote movie soundtracks. He performed in so many different bands and played on so many different albums. It would be virtually impossible to have all of them, but this is a lot of his solo stuff. So these are basically in chronological order of when they came out. Again, I don't have everything, but I have a lot. So this is his first album. And Boomer Story, great record. Into the Purple Valley. I love this record too. Paradise and Lunch. Chicken Skin Music. Jazz. Bop Till You Drop, which is, I think, the first digitally recorded, certainly the first digitally recorded rock album. Bop Till You Drop. Borderline. The Slide Area. Soundtrack for the movie The Border. Harvey Keitel. Music by Ry Cooder. 1982. Another soundtrack from another movie, Alamo Bay. Ry Cooder, David Hidalgo, etc. John Hyatt. Another solo album, Get Rhythm. This one I just got recently. It's a repress, but it's such a great album. With Manuel Galban. It's called Mambo Sinondo. Beautiful packaging on this one. They did a great job. Great repress on this. Great album. Ry Cooder. This is Election, a special. This came out during the Romney election, because there's a song called Mutt Romney's Blues. And his latest album, which I got recently, Prodigal Son. Also a great album. So there's Ry currently. So this is some of Ry's discography. Number of other ones I'm trying to collect to sort of round it out. But yeah, Ry Cooder, amazing guitar player. Next one was pick an album that was the band's premiere in 1969. And this one came right to mind, even though it's not very, not known by a lot of people, but I love this band, love this album. It's The Meters, and this is called Sophisticated Sissy. No, it's just called The Meters, I'm sorry, just called The Meters. This is their first album, came out in 1969. Lucky enough I found this at a Goodwill for like $1, like 2-3 years ago. And they have songs to the Sissy Strut, Live Wire, Sophisticated Sissy, Ease Back, Stormy. Oh, what a great. So they're a band out of New Orleans. And this is their first album, 1969, The Meters. Next thing was your favorite album from 1969. And there's so many ridiculously great albums in 1969. Abbey Road. The Led Zeppelin put out 2 albums, on and on and on. Just amazing stuff. But my personal favorite is the band. Love this album. I love music from Big Pink, but I think this is fantastic. Their second album, just called The Band. One of my all-time favorite albums. And then, as a bonus, they said to show 3 groups that Mazzy loves. So if you've watched his channel, it should be fairly easy. First one I'm showing is the Beatles, introducing the Beatles. And this does happen to be an original, even though it has a little tape on top, but it's not a bootleg or a fake one. It's a real one, like that. And then, of course, you have the Byrds, Turn, Turn, Turn. And last but not least, of course, another of Mazzy's favorite bands is the Kinks. And this is Lola versus Power Man and the Money Ground, Part 1. Great, great album, great band. So that's my entry into Mazzy's contest. If you don't know Mazzy's channel, check it out. He does great stuff, always lots of fun. Congratulations on your 500, probably now close to 600 subscribers. I'm sure you'll be up to 1,000 before you know it. And as they used to say in 1969, until later, peace.